Well, looks like you finally found your parents, new kid. But you won't be escaping that easily. Now you must decide. To move on, you must either kill your mom or your dad. So what's it going to be? Choose fast because your friends are waiting. Well, shit, we're going to have to kill one of New Kid's parents. And unfortunately for Mom, she's going to have to deal with her broken arm for a little longer because we're killing Dad. We have to talk to him last before we can make a decision, plus he's closer to the DNA machine, so sorry Dad, I'll be moving ahead then. For the upcoming boss, we're equipping Brutal Bash and Purifying Petals as well as swapping Captain Diabetes back out for Call Girl. This next fight is fun because we get to out-cheat the cheater. This is Mutant Kyle's cousin. I'm sure you remember how annoying this boss is with him spamming AoE attacks, spraying blood everywhere, and even getting a turn after every ally, but we're pretty much ignoring everything. One strange quirk of this fight is that your turn order is actually set to the default value, which, if you remember from way back at the Professor Chaos fight, means that New Kid goes before Toolshed if he was in the party, and it wouldn't go before Qazplm even if we had alien DNA equipped. Qazplm going before us is good though. This actually makes Qazplm save a tiny bit of time over a Toolshed due to some weird shenanigans with the turns here. At the start, we take the first hit from Kyle's cousin so that he's standing closer to us. There's a chance that we'll get hit by a nosebleed, which is just pure time loss. The nosebleed itself takes time, and it also causes roast out, which unfortunately means that we lose even more time from Qazplm throwing up, but thankfully everyone else will have the gross out cleansed by New Kid thanks to Purifying Petals. Next we're going to have Call Girl use a Selfie Stick Strike to do some damage, and then have Mysterion move to the left of the New Kid and use Dark Whisper to inflict defense down. On the boss's turn, we'll time pause him to punch him 5 times to deal some massive damage thanks to both the attack up and defense down bonuses. After this, we'll skip Fast Pass and have New Kid use Brutal Bash to do some damage. Call Girl will move left 1 space and use Block to taunt Kyle's cousin. Just like with the security team fight from way back when, this actually messes with the boss's AI because Call Girl is out of range for his belly flop, and he can use his charge attack with his party position. Mysterion will then use another Dark Whisper to inflict defense down again. Even though his demonic theory is strong, he actually contributes more to overall damage by using Dark Whisper to boost up the New Kid's Brutal Bash than he would spamming Demonic Theory. Plus, Dark Whisper is just such a fast skill. Next, the New Kid uses Double Edge so that he can get 2 Brutal Bashes in a row. Even though this may seem like a waste because we're not even cutting out a round of attacks here, just trust me, this will make sense later. Now that Kyle's cousin has taken 2 actual turns, he's going to go into his cheating phase. But because he's still enraged, he can't do anything. Haha, loser. We'll see Call Girl's turn, and strangely enough, the enrage abuse gives us a chance to skip the cutscene with Kyle's cousin saying he has a smudge on his glasses, saving more time here. Mysterion's going to use another Dark Whisper to get defense down on the boss, and then we'll use our newfound powers to change it to daytime. While Kyle's cousin is rubbing sunscreen on himself, he'll get a new debuff, Mutant Kite Defense Down, which raises damage by plus 200%, so we're taking advantage of it for some massive damage. Even though there's a timer at the bottom, this phase gets cancelled after a certain amount of damage, so we can't just spam attacks left and right to knock out his entire HP pool. Thanks to the double edge from earlier, New Kid takes his turn after Mysterion and also maintains his attack above, which cuts out a Purifying Petals cast. Mysterion's going to get 1 more Dark Whisper, which fills the ultimate gauge and maintains the defense down. Then we'll go in with a fully powered full force fisting to need the rest of his health. In the past, we used to use Final Girl's Final Vengeance, but we need to get the boss to somewhere around 33% HP in order to use it, which is lower than what Full Force Fisting can do in this setup. Plus the animation is really long, so this ends up being way faster. The cheese tactic of enraging the boss saves a good 40 seconds or so and cuts out a massive amount of RNG, as Kyle's cousin has a chance of getting a nosebleed with every attack, which causes all 4 kids to just waste time throwing up. In case you're wondering about how the fight looked before the enrage abuse, it was the exact same thing, except the party would just eat all the hits. The damage is so low that even with 3 nosebleeds, there was no risk of anyone dying, so it really didn't change the strategy at all. With this new artifact slot unlocked, we're going to equip the Sash of Merit plus 6, which has 125 might. The effect is trash, but the slight boost in stats makes a difference on a few bosses in the future. We're also going to swap out Purifying Petals out for a Dragon Dance, which means the answer to yesterday's quiz was Netherborn. The many asked 6 this fight was the last time Netherborn was used, so congratulations to everyone who got it correct. Here's a cookie. After escaping, we're going to go tell Carbon, but unfortunately New Kid farted so hard that we actually farted all the way to next week, so Mitch Connor is now officially the mayor of South Park. Don't worry though, because Morgan Freeman will teach us how to travel into the past so we can stop him. Unfortunately, the new kid doesn't believe in himself hard enough, so we end up farting everyone into the future instead. No, not that far in the future. There we go. We need to go back into the past, but unfortunately the new kid suffers from a fractured butthole. Oh hey, it's the title of the game. Only took 90% of the game before we heard it. Anyways, we need to find a doctor fast, but before we get the chance, we get into the scripted encounter with the woodland critters. The woodland critters are too strong though, so we decide to pray to Christ, which causes Santa to crash land nearby, killing his reindeer but giving us a new ally to take down Qazplm's demonic critters. This fight has a weird quirk to the turn order. Santa actually replaces the first person's turn whoever it is, so because we have the slow turn order, Porcupine gets her turn skipped. If Nuka wins first instead, he would actually get his turn skipped, which isn't ideal. Santa's very strong, so we'll be maximizing his attacks to smack as many critters as possible. To help with that, Fastpass will use Blindsight on the healer Beavery, which forces him into Santa's range. Nuka will then use Dragon Dance to attack Berry and Raccoony. This fight seems complicated, but we're actually just splitting our party to do a divide and conquer strategy. Nuka focuses on the right, Callgirl attacks both sides, and everyone else focuses on the left. Callgirl uses Phone Destroyer on Beavery because we want to get rid of him ASAP due to him being a healer, and this extra damage is needed to make sure he dies before his next turn. Once it's Beavery's turn, we're going to time pause him and punch Berry 3 times and Raccoony once to balance out the damage for later. Mysterion will then use Dark Whisperer on Beavery, which now gets him low enough for Santa to kill him with one more smack. Now we'll have the new kid do a double Dragon Dance to get rid of Berry and Raccoony on the right side. Thanks to Fastpass standing between Deary and Foxy, neither of them can get in the middle row, which cuts out one extra attack as well as a bunch of burn animations in this fight. Callgirl then uses Stealthy 6 Strike to get rid of Porcupine, and Mysterion will use Dark Whisper right next to Deary to attack her without moving her position. Santa will smack the critters again to take out Deary, and Fastpass will use a hit and run to take out Foxy. After the battle, we're swapping the Necronomicon out for the Festive Verse, which is only a 10 might boost, but because the damage on the next fight is so absurdly tight, this makes all the difference on 2 bosses. We'll also equip the Alien DNA, which does drop our damage, but the extra moveset will be very important, which we'll see later. We'll then go to the only clinic in town, which is the Abortion Clinic, and here we'll get a splint for the new kid's fractured butthole so we can try and go back in time one more time, which is back to the beginning of the game. Now we get to answer the age-old question, which is better, the Stick of Truth or the Fractured Butthole? Time for the kids to find it out. Starting off, the king is going to use a very slow meteor attack which will just eat up. While we could time glitch this, there's actually no benefits. First off, if we cancel this meteor, the king will just use it again on the last round. Eating it now replaces it with a much faster fist attack. Second, the cooldown for our type bars are glitched with the waves in this fight, so if you finish a round on the new kid's first turn, it doesn't actually count down, and well, we'll be soloing 3 waves with the new kid. After the king takes his first attack, we'll have Fastpass and the new kid attack to finish the wave. On the next round, we're going to have the new kid take out Clyde instantly with a double Brutal Bash. The additional stats we have are just barely enough for us to defeat Clyde here, otherwise we'd have to wait for his minions to walk around and then kill on Mosquito's turn. Thankfully, we get no penalty for ending a wave with double edge, so we get to go first again on the next wave. The next wave with Craig is the reason we brought the Alien DNA. We'll have Nukid move towards past Craig before using double edge for a movement boost, followed by Dragon Dance on past Craig and one of his clones. We'll then use Brutal Basher to knock him into Super Craig, which is just barely enough damage to beat him. Next we have High Jew Elf Kyle. We'll eat a barrage of arrows at the start and once again solo the boss with a double Brutal Bash. Kyle's health is so low that we don't even need a knockback or anything, he just goes down in 2 punches. Now it's time for the final wave where we fight against Craig, Clyde, Kyle, Butters, and the King. Thankfully for us, Caldwell goes first to this fight because our party members are placed down alphabetically with DLC characters shoved last, and turn order is decided by party positions here. The King will start off with his fist attack to shove us all back, which will retaliate by having Caldwell use Phone Destroyer to inflict defense down on the boss. Then on past Craig's turn, we'll time pause so we can take out most of the King's health, and then afterwards we'll finish him off with one last full force fizzing to take out our past self. Ending the fight and proving that Fractured Butthole is the superior game. Take that, Stick of Truth. Once we catch up to Cardman, he's going to send us back in time where we'll meet the thugs in all these tutorials we never actually did, and we'll find out that they just wanted us to follow them. Which isn't really an excuse to break into our home, but we'll oblige and then go see our parents, who reveal that the entire family has this power that makes us all insanely popular on social media. Gee, who would have thunk? It's not like this will reveal at the end of the Stick of Truth or anything, right? Now that the new kid finally believes in himself, we'll return to the present where we're going to fight the final bosses, which are Qazplm and Kyle, the real and fake Mitch Connors. Which one's real? Nobody knows. I bet it's Kyle. He's looking kind of sus in that outfit. This fight is a bit weird because of all the scripted events, so it was a bit of a mess to optimize, but the end result is very clean. New Kid starts off by doing a single dragon dance. Because his first wave is the one where Kyle's the one cheating, he's going to reflect the damage on Qazplm. We're then going to have Mysteria use Dread Rush on both of them to take out Qazplm with a knockback, as well as deal some massive damage to Kyle. Because we killed Qazplm with the knockback damage, we actually forced Kyle to move down to make space for Qazplm, which is helpful for the next wave. Also because Kyle took a lot of damage at the end of the wave, he doesn't heal any of it back up. Kyle gets his next turn, which will time pause and punch him 1 time, and Qazplm 3 times to take them both out. This will actually glitch up the events because only the animation for taking out Kyle will play and move on to New Kid's turn instead of Qazplm. Qazplm should be going next, but because he's dead, the New Kid gets his next turn, so we'll use Double Edge, which then activates Qazplm's cutscene and sends us into the final phase. Normally, Kyle and Qazplm would take their turns first, but because New Kid's turn never ended, it's still his turn. We can then proceed to use a double dragon dance to end the fight immediately. It's important that they both die at the same time, or else the one who survives will get an extra cutscene making fun of the other. We're almost at the end now. We just need to show everyone the selfie so that everyone knows Qazplm has been using them this whole time. Once a green checkmark appears, that officially marks the end of the run. South Park is saved, and everyone has gone off to get clean drugs and alcohol from another town. Also, we found out that our parents are both saved in this new timeline we created, so all's well that ends well. Well, except for the fact that our dad's fucking our mom again. That's something that will never change, unfortunately.